Hello and welcome to an episode of BeamNG.Drive. In today's episode, we're going to be doing crash testing in my second episode of this BeamNG Correct series. Now, we're not using a truck first. The first vehicle that we're going to be using is a BeamNG.Drive, but the first thing I wanted to show you is you can see that this vehicle, it's a truck, so it has a separate frame. The frame is attached to the truck, which holds everything together. What that means is that in a crash, it won't do so well, because this makes everything much more stiff, even the front. So, what happens is when you get into a collision, this stops everything from crumpling in the front. Which, you want everything to crumple right here, but then nothing to happen here. So, because if it crumples all the way here, it's going to take a longer time than if it just went this far and just stopped. If it just went this far and stopped, that would be like hitting a brick wall instantaneously. Whereas if it kind of went like all the way back, it would slow the collision down faster. I mean, it would slow the collision down slower. So it would take more time to go from here to there with the destruction. Whereas if it just went to there, it would just be instantaneous and you'd die from all the force. And then, but still, if the cabin just goes like to the side of a ping pong ball, you're going to be killed. So you want the cabin to stay up straight. So trucks and vehicles that have their own frame aren't so good at that. Whereas if you have a BeamNG.200BX, you can see it does not have a separate frame. It has frame rails, but it doesn't have a separate frame. Because, one, it's lighter. Two, it's safer because it can let more crumple. When more crumples, that's good. But you don't want any of this to crumple. If any of the cabin crumples, that's bad. So, we're going to take it out there. We're going to go up to 40. Can I go 40 in first? No, I can. Okay, so we're going to go 40. And then we're going to hit about 25-ish% of the front of the car, because that would be the equivalent of hitting a pole, which is much worse than just hitting a brick wall with the whole front of the car, and that's let's redo that. Okay, I'm just going to redo this, because I wanted to kind of go more about the size of the headlight on this, which is going to be about 25% of the front of the car. And with that previous crash, it just kind of went over a little bit of the headlight, which is obviously not 25% of the front of the car. Okay, go like this. Let's look. That's good, but that's a lot better. Okay. Oh, that didn't do so well. Speed up time. And, well, you can see here. First of all, yes, I did crumple a good amount, so this vehicle would do very well. But then you can see it wouldn't do so well because, one, your door kind of went yuck, like that. And then, also, your roof went like that, so overall it's kind of in between. But now if we actually want to look at the frame and how everything did, break all brake grips. So now that everything has been destroyed, we can move this out of the way and see what the actual frame of the car looks like. So you can see that during that collision, you can see my little, I'm pressing the throttle, nothing's happening. So you can see that, yeah, it did do really well until it got... So it did do well here. But then, as soon as it got to here, it didn't do so well. So we're going to reset. And then we're going to go to the next vehicle, which is the ETK 800 series. For this, just double click. First gear, can this go... Okay, good. This thing will go to 40 in first gear. I mean, it's quite loud. And so what I'm going to do is, as soon as we get there, just go like that. So that there's no forward force on it. Okay. Yeah, this thing does really well. Now this thing is a really safe car because okay. Don't mind me while I burn the clutch to pieces. There we go, finally. Yeah, this thing did really, really well. So you can see that it went up basically all the way, except there's a little bit of fender left there. Yeah, so there's a little bit of fender left there, but besides that, it did crumple all the way in, and then there's no difference in the roof shape. So there's no cabin intrusion at all. Even the window didn't, not even the windshield broke. That whole crash. Yeah, so this thing is a really good collision. But we'll just break all brake grips and kaboom. Okay, let's just move this to... Yeah, you can see it just 10 force and I can move the whole thing because of how light the cabin is. Come on, move. Okay. So you can see it bent up to here, and it kind of just stopped. So this thing did really well. Now, we're gonna get to the bar stuff. I'm not expecting this car to do amazing like the last car. Nor does it have stability or traction control. There is a lot of torque. I'm spinning out at the top of the rev range at 40 miles an hour. Tell me how that's possible. Okay. Just about 40 neutral. That might be a little bit... Oh, perfect, really. Kind of. Yeah, that's not what you want to see. Okay, so it destroyed up to... Yeah, it didn't do so well. See, the frame basically transferred all the energy through, and it pushed everything. It compressed it. So this kind of crumpled in a bit, but then it just sent all the energy up there, and yeah... It appears as if the steering wheel is was sawing your plumb sack off. Yeah, your plumb sack's been sawed off by the wheel. Hey, look, there's that mechanical fan in there still working. Notice how good this thing sounds. I mean, it is a big American V8. Ah, that scared me. Jesus. Ow. My ears are... Look, play this game and just drive around at full revs for a minute in this car. And then you're not going to expect when it actually does blow up, and then it's like, oh lord, it just feels weird when it actually does blow up. Especially when you're wearing headsets. Yeah, this thing didn't do so well. No point in actually disassembling the body. Okay. Savita Bolide. I'm expecting this car to do pretty well because it's rear-engined. Even though it is kind of old, it's rear-engined. And let's see, does it have a separate frame? No, it doesn't. It's a unibody. I'm expecting this to do well because there's no engine in the front to stop it from crumpling. And it also doesn't have a whole frame. Let's see how you do. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Okay, now let's just reverse it. So we can get it out of that way. Okay. Yeah. I mean, nothing else to say, just pretty good. Oh, the wrong button. Okay, now that I'm full screen again, let's just break all brake groups. And then everything broken, as you can see right here. I mean, the engine still works. Just doesn't do anything. I mean, this is a V8. Usually V8's grown, but I think this might have a flat plane crank. Because a flat plane crank basically means that it's going to kind of snarl. Like a normal V8, it kind of grumbles. But so you can see really well, no cabin intrusion, whatever. Next car, Ep2. I'm expecting this eco box to do meh. I don't know. It's small, so it's definitely not going to do well. Basically, even though a company will tell you, oh, our car's small, but it still does good in a crash. That doesn't matter. A big old SUV comes at you and you're gonna die. Why do you think SUVs became so popular? Because everyone was driving a car and then they saw an SUV and they're like, oh god, I gotta get one. It's like nuclear weapons, basically. Once one person gets them, everyone has to have it. Not even the hubcap fell off. Oh, look. No, I put it in 5th gear. Now I gotta turn the engine back on. Okay, yes, it's front-wheel drive, obviously. But this is basically like an old 80s hatchback. These things were fun. Hot hatches in the 80s, I've heard from people who were around in the 80s, that hot hatches are pretty fun. Just go look at the Top Gear episode about hot hatches.
Are we ready? I'm going to pop it into neutral. Here we go.
Oh my god, he's got...
I think this is what George Michael was trying to do.
Small steering input.
I got it. I'll just keep a... Oh my god, it doesn't really stick.
But he's got... Let's see if I can get him from the
out
outside.
of the car.
I'm actually on the roof of a moving vehicle. I'm doing a lap now.
Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is coming in.
I tell you what, Velvet's good. You get better traction.
Genuinely
Yes!
It worked!
Yes!
Okay, anyway, so this thing that I made it did decent. I'm pretty sure that it doesn't have a separate frame. I'm pretty sure it's a unibody. Yeah, it is. And it didn't crumple all the way like I would like. So let's just Break all brake groups. Yeah, it did just kind of crumple this up, but it didn't really crumple all the way in. Okay, next car. Which is not a gravel gladiator, because that's a car that's not normal for this game. But let's go for the gravel Grand Marshal. Yeah, this is a big V8. Lock it in first. And then let it slow on down to 40. I'm going to expect this to do kind of like the last car, kind of meh. Okay. Hey, this thing did better than the last car, that's for sure. I mean, it has a Slushmatic for a transmission, but still. Okay. Does this have a separate frame? No, it does not. Actually. You know, that looks like it does have a separate frame on it. You can see the frame going across the side. Let's just look. Yeah, it does have a body and frame. Frame and body, whatever. You could definitely see, because it has that frame, it didn't crumple all the way. It only really went up to here, and then it said, yeah, I couldn't be bothered. So I wouldn't really want to be in one of these in a crash. So they call brake groups. And let's just get that hood out of the way. Oh, Lord, it's like being in a tunnel. Okay, anyway, but yeah, you can see here, this thing was a lot more rigid, but it's not good. This being rigid, yeah, that's good. This being rigid, no, bad. So the next car is going to be the ETK I-Series, probably a manual. Oh, was that right? Yes, it was. Just because, why not? Let's just rev it up. Now let's take off how I used to take off in this game. And I instantly feel bad for the clutch. This thing doesn't rev at all. God. Okay. Let's see how this does. Oh, God. That's not good. That's really not good. I mean, yeah, it got that inline 6, but still. I mean, yeah, it did kind of destroy, but then it destroyed right here and crap. This was the worst time to buy vehicles when it came to actual safety, because they didn't really do proper safety testing. With these older cars, what they did is they just went with 45% of the front of the car, and then if it did well. But yeah, your steering wheel is once again sawing off your sausage. I don't really know if I want my steering wheel sawing off my sausage, so yeah. Okay, next car. ETK K-Series. The big, that's it. I mean, I don't know if this would be the little brother or the little sister to the ETK 800 series, but it's the K-Series. Once again, probably going to give me a manual, isn't it? Let's see what it gives me. Clutch it. Okay, yeah, manual. But look, this has stability control, so I don't have to worry about. Once again, I mean, perfect speed for a crash, right? Now, these cars actually have something where they'll stop the car when you actually get into a crash, which I don't really see the point of. Because I'd rather have the car stop before the collision. It's taking a while. I have mixed opinions about that. Yeah, you can see that because with that feature, it didn't just slide around. It locked up the brakes as soon as it hit it, as soon as it crashed. So let's just move it out of the way. Okay. This is obviously a unibody, but it has a very long front hood. Let's just look at this. If we take off the thing, I mean, yes, it did destroy quite a lot, but that would be kind of a harsh impact if you think about it. So I'm going to say that this car probably wouldn't do so well in a crash test, but still, I mean, at least your steering wheel isn't sawing off anything. Let's go to the Brucker Legrand. This car probably isn't going to do so well. Okay, this is probably going to be an automatic. Yep. And it's front wheel drive. So you can see the front wheel just lift off the ground when you floor it. 3-speed automatic, what? This would probably be like a Buick probably, I think. Okay, neutral. We'll just go with it. Oh lord, that's not good. It's done more than saw off your sausage. Oh god. Dude, your sausage. For the sake of your penis, don't buy this car. And also for the sake of when you get into a crash, you can't examine the damage because it... Okay, let's just go the old-fashioned way and rip it off. Come on. Okay, whatever. Just rip the exhaust system out to pull it. Alert. Brakes. No brakes. Hi, bumper. Yeah, bumper, I said hi. Stop waving at me. Safe to say when this happens, you got no traction. But, yeah, let's just cut to the point. Okay. So, everything has been bent to pieces. And, well... Oh, Lord. I mean, yes, it did bend. But it bent here. Which is not good at all. Okay, let's just cut to the next car. Next car, be sure, oh, Lord. This car's just gonna bounce off everything. It gave me a manual, didn't it? Yep. Yeah, at least at least it has no power, so you don't need to worry about like, going over, like going too fast for one of these. But actually, oh wait, I just thought. Oh yeah, okay, so this car's on the opposite end. That's not good. Oh, that's well, crap. So small, I wasn't expecting it. Okay. 40 miles an hour to actually hit the thing. Let's look at this crash. And actually did kind of a little bit more than the middle, so, I mean, like, good for the car, I guess. The car has the advantage with that crash. Okay. Full speed. Oh, well, your hood up. Oh, yeah, that. Well, the nice thing is that because the wheel is on this side, you didn't get anything hurt that time. I mean, you're fine because you're on the other side of the car, but I mean... Still, it did bend a lot, except it made the side square. So you're basically now driving even more of a box after that crash. Brickle Moonhawk. Let's see what it gave me. It probably gave me a manual too. Nope, automatic. Wasn't expecting that. And why is the whole car red? I forgot. I could've swore. Is there even a model that has everything red on this car? I don't know. Slow down a bit for the collision. And... Okay. Okay. Well, it does have a separate frame, so... Because of that separate frame, it didn't really crumple too much. I mean, it did kind of go kaput, but besides that, it did bend in here, so this car wouldn't be so good if you got into a crash. I should take the time, break all brake groups, yank it out of the way. The hood will ever let go. So yeah, okay. IIHS. This is a car that most people describe as being the most boring and useless car in the game. So if it's the most boring and useless, then it must be the safest. Good. I'm just gonna go in the second gear for this one. Good crash. Yeah, it's not the safest. I mean, I think it's a unibody. Oh, yep, it broke the front axle and it's front wheel drive. So because it broke the front axle, that means that it won't let you move really with, like, the front wheel drive was an open differential, so you can do anything, even with one axle broken, it's not going to move at all. So it did what you would want it to do, really, and then it kind of did what you don't want it to do. I mean, the steering wheel's in your lap, but nothing too bad. Yeah, it did kind of what you'd like, but not the safest of cars, but it would be decent if you're in like a 30-mile-an-hour crash. Just don't get in a crash at highway speed. Next car, the old IIHS. Wait, is this front-wheel drive? Let's see if it is. Emergency brake on. Yep, it's front-wheel drive. I'm just gonna say it. This car probably isn't gonna do so well. Definitely not as good as the newer one. Okay, let's go kind of over to the side, let off the throttle. Good crash. Oh, yep. Yep. It appears as if the steering wheel has become one with your legs. Well, with your kneecaps. Yep. It speaks for itself. It wouldn't do really so well, but worse than the original. Worse than a new Pesma. Now let's go look at the BL, or this thing's just gonna hit bounce off, isn't it? This car is based off of the Robin. The Reliant Robin. Come on, little car. You can do it. It's just gonna bounce off. There's nothing's just gonna happen. It's just gonna bounce. And I'm not even gonna hit it. Not used to the thing being so small. This little engine only revs with a 4,500 RPM. Wow. That's only like half. That's half a thousand RPM higher than a big diesel engine. A big one too. Okay, let's just see how bad this does. Well, as I said, it did bounce off. But yeah, don't get into a crash with this. It has a separate frame, and it's not even gonna be all like utilitarian anyway. I mean, cheap, yes. Utilitarian, not really. Okay, Roger SBR4. I'm expecting this thing to do pretty well. And sound great while doing it. Honestly, I gotta have some fun in this car before we destroy it. Inside cam. I mean, this is rear engine, so it's probably not going to give the best of a drift, but I'll try to drift it. Yeah, it's rear engine though, so. But holy crap, is this car fun? Well, let's see how this does. Pretty good. Let's look at this here. Yeah. I mean, the windshield kind of got bent in a little bit, but the steering wheel's right where it should be. And if we break all brake groups, yeah, it did bend like it should. So, I'm gonna say this car did pretty good. This video would have been about 30 minutes long if I didn't cut it here. There's going to be a part 2 of this, so hopefully you like this episode, and goodbye.